Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, and I want to talk about the 4-minute scene that was released from Dungeons & Dragons, Honor Among Thieves on March 13th, okay? About 2 weeks before the release. We're coming up on the release. The release is on March 31st is the traditional release, right? And I have my ticket. I have my tickets. So I'm very ready. Very excited. Very excited. So I want to talk about this 4-minute clip that was released and talk about player character groups. Okay. So basically, we see a scene with Forge Fitzwilliams, who's played by Hugh Grant, and it's in Forgotten Realms, and it is the Maze Arena scene. Okay, and so Forge Fitzwilliams has captured the Honor Among Thieves heroes. That's Holga Kilgore, that is Zenk Yendar, that is Simon Armour, that is Doric, and that is Edgin Darvis, right? And so that's a player character group, okay? And we've even been given the character sheets for them, canon, D&D Beyond canon, which is really exciting. There's a question on whether they're stat blocks or player character sheets. I think they're player character sheets. They've been referred to as character sheets by Chris Perkins and by Dale's Kingsmill and by Ted from Nerd Immersion. And then they're actually on D&D Beyond. They're listed as stat blocks, right? But these characters are canon in Forgotten Realms, and they're canon in D&D Honor Among Thieves, and this is all connected to Dungeons & Dragons saying the product is the world, and this is new. It is a completely new way to approach canon and narrative, right? And why would this product have this completely new way of dealing with narrative and telling a story through product and merchandise as well as books, and telling the story through the big screen and the small screen? Well, it's because of Gary Gygax, right? His legacy is what he accomplished was so the magnitude of it was so large, and it just kicked up such an incredible flare of creativity and imagination that people are trying to match his energy today, and they're doing things that no one else has really ever seen, right? So you have these three. So you have the Hat Heroes, and then you have another group. You have another player character group, and that is you have Bobby, you have Presto, Hank, Eric, Bobby, Diana, and Sheila. Okay, and so this is a second player character group, right? And then finally, you have a third player character group with this dark, this dark cloaked rogue, and then there's a dwarf in there, and I think it might be a fighter and a cleric in there as well. And there's this third player character group. And what I wanted to talk to you about today is this really fascinating. Why is this player character here group? What function? Why are these three player character groups here, and what function do they serve? Right. Well, the Hat Heroes, the Honor Among Thieves heroes, Zank and Doric and Edgin and Simon and Holga. They're there because the movie's about them, right? They're the center of the story. They're the center of the narrative. So there's a logical reason why they're there. Okay. Then let's take it further, right? Then the 1983 Dungeons and Dragons Saturday morning cartoon characters, they are there because there is this story that is spanning from 1983 to to basically these characters have been talked about in Dungeons and Dragons since 1983, and here we are 40 years later, and their story has been told through the cartoon, right? Through Dragons of Stormwreck Isle, and through Wild Beyond the Witchlight, right? Their story is being told in the Magic the Gathering cards, right? They've been lit, and that's exactly right. I actually own, right, the Dungeons & Dragons cartoon characters on Magic the Gathering cards, with D&D saying, hey, make sure you understand, here's the 1983 Saturday morning cartoons. Here's Magic the Gathering. Dominaria is a canon setting of Dungeons & Dragons, right? Canon, right? James Wyatt wrote, Planes Shift Dominaria, made it canon, right? And here, of course, you see these 1983 characters in Magic the Gathering, where you would expect to see them, right? Because the product is the world, right? Truly incredible and unprecedented across any other product on Earth, right? And the type of storytelling that's being done on Dungeons & Dragons is just unmatched, okay? Then you have this third player character group, and what are they for? They're there to get murdered. Like they're there because we need to see that the maze arena is dangerous, and that the player characters are in danger. The Hat Heroes are in danger. The Hat Heroes are in danger. I can tell you right now, the 1983 Dungeons & Dragons Saturday morning cartoon are in no danger. They have plot armor to the hilt, right? These characters have come from the realm of Dungeons & Dragons, and then they went to Stormwreck Isle, and now they're in Thay, right? And it's clear that they've had activity. In my humble opinion, it's very clear they've had activity on the Dominaria side, right? And these are iconic characters that are 100% unkillable, right? And the Hat Heroes are 100% unkillable because this isn't going to be a successful trilogy. You're looking at you're looking at the rise of the Dungeons & Dragons cinematic universe. And I was talking about that 2 weeks ago before the strong reviews started coming in. Right? I'm on this, right? I'm seeing what's coming, and I'm very proud. I think I'm doing good coverage. I'm doing daily coverage, and I think I'm seeing things that others aren't, right? You could tell me if you think there's somebody else who's hotter on this material and just ain't squawking whatever they heard from from Variety or whatever. And then last, there's this player character group who was like, y'all's going to get the teeth. You're going to get the sharp end of the sword. And your entire point to being here is to show that this maze arena is deadly, even though we have two player character teams that nobody's leaving dead out of these, right? But we have an entire player character group who's just put to the grind, right? And so you have a player character group that's in there to tell the story of the movie. You have a player character group, the 1983 Saturday morning cartoons, and they are in there to tell a story that's been spanning for 40 years, that goes directly from Gary Gygax to Lorraine Williams, to Ryan Dancey, to Robert Hainsou, to Mike Merles, to Jeremy Crawford, to Amanda Heyman, right? That story, that 1983 Saturday morning cartoon character, that has been being told for 40 years, right? And that story is an overarch. It's an infrastructure story that is far above what we're seeing in the film, and frankly, more important than what we're seeing in the film. And then you have these characters who are just in here to catch the teeth, right? To die and see and prove to us that the maze arena is deadly. I'm so excited for this film. I cannot wait to see this thing. What are you seeing? What did you see in that 4-minute clip? I've been sharing what I'm seeing. Is there anything I missed? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.